last class, degrees of freedom. Next, kinetic energy of the gas or kinetic energy of each molecule. These two are completed. Okay. What is the degrees of freedom for monatomic gas? What is the degrees of freedom for monatomic gas? 3. For diatomic gas, at normal temperatures, at low temperatures only, 5. For triatomic gas or polyatomic gas, for triatomic or polyatomic gas, 6. At high temperature, additionally 2 degrees of freedom will be added. At high temperatures, as the atoms in a molecule are having vibratory motion, then 2 degrees of freedom will be added. Okay, in case of diatomic gas, at high temperatures, what is the degrees of freedom? 5 degrees of freedom already, even at low temperatures also there. 2 degrees of freedom will be added, so that 7 degrees of freedom. Okay, in case of solids, the atoms and molecules cannot move freely as in the gas. In case of solids, just they execute the simple harmonic vibrations about their mean positions. That's why in case of atoms, they are having only energy due to vibratory motion. For every each vibratory motion, 2 degrees of freedom will be added. 2 degrees of freedom will be added. That's why the molecule may vibrate along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. That's why they are having totally, in case of solids, especially I am telling. So for solids, note 4, actually note 3 was completed in last class. Next note 4 for solids. For solids, only degrees of freedom exist. Degrees of freedom exist due to vibratory motion only. Due to vibratory motion only. So due to vibratory motion, 2 degrees of freedom is there. 2 degrees of freedom. Therefore, degrees of freedom in case for solids, degrees of freedom for each molecule of the solid is equal to, when for each vibration 2 degrees of freedom. That suppose when the molecule in a solid execute vibrations in a space, then along x-axis some energy component is there, along y-axis, along z-axis. That's why 3 into 2, that is equal to 6 degrees of freedom in case of solids. We can take. In case of solids, what is the degrees of freedom means we can take 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, now law of equipartition of energy. Law of equipartition of energy. Law of equipartition of energy. According to this law of equipartition of energy, in any gas or in any system, for each degree of freedom, the energy gained by each molecule, that degrees of freedom may be due to translator motion, vibratory motion, or rotational motion. Okay, for each degree of freedom, the kinetic energy gained by each and every atom or molecule is equal to half kT. K is the Boltzmann constant and T is the Kelvin scale of temperature of the gas. Okay, so here for each degree of freedom, for each degree of freedom, every gaseous atom or molecule, acquires energy equal to half K into T, where K is the Boltzmann constant. So by experimental observations, they said that according to law of equipartition of energy, for each degree of freedom, every gaseous molecule acquires the energy equal to half kT. Suppose if the given gas is having degrees of freedom F, then what is the energy of each molecule in the energy of each molecule in the gas means suppose if the degrees of freedom of the gas is F, then F into half kT. That is the total energy of the given gas. Therefore, based on this, therefore, total energy of the given gas for F degrees of freedom, total energy or internal energy. That total energy is called internal energy. Internal energy. Internal energy of gas with F degrees of freedom. F degrees of freedom. Total energy or internal energy of the given gas with F degrees of freedom. It consists of n molecules is equal to E is equal to you see here for each molecule energy gained by the each molecule is equal to half kT for 1 degree of freedom. As the gas consists of F degrees of freedom, then F by 2 kT is the total energy gained by the each molecule due to F degrees of freedom. As the gas consists of n number of molecules, as the gas consists of n molecules, the total energy of the gas is equal to n into kT, n into F by 2 kT. Therefore, for the given gas consists of n molecules, for n molecules, for capital N molecules, internal energy or energy associated with the gas is equal to F by 2 capital N kT, F by 2 capital N capital K into capital T. Okay, for n moles of the gas, for n moles of the gas, suppose we are given number of molecules given, then we have to use this formula. If n moles are given, the given gas consists of small n number of molecules, n moles of gas. Okay, then E is equal to, how we can write? Here you see, since PV is equal to nRT, PV is equal to nRT. Okay, here small n is, of course, we can write directly. Small n is equal to mass of the gas means n m naught, because m naught is considered as the mass of each molecule. N naught is considered as mass of each molecule. Okay, by mass of the gas by molecular weight, capital, that is equal to number of molecules by Avogadro number, we can write. Okay, therefore E is equal to F by 2. Number of molecules means we can write number of molecules is equal to mass of the gas. Number of molecules is equal to n into small n, we can write now. Okay, simply n is equal to n by Na. Then capital N is equal to n into small na, we can write now. N into capital Na, Avogadro number, into K into T. Okay, but R by Na is equal to Boltzmann constant. R Boltzmann constant into Na gives universal gas constant. No? That's why therefore energy is equal to F by 2 small n. Avogadro number into Boltzmann constant is equal to universal gas constant. So capital into T. So this is for n molecules. This is the formula. For n molecules, the energy of the gas. The energy of the gas having n number of molecules is equal to F by 2 nkt. For n moles of the gas, the energy associated with the gas having n number of moles is equal to F by 2 nRT. Okay, this is very, very important one. This energy is called internal energy of the gas also. This energy is the internal energy of the gas also. For m mass of the gas, for n moles of the gas, this is the formula. For small m mass of the gas, because small m is the mass of gas, m naught is the mass of molecule, that is the difference. So for smaller mass of gas, internal energy is equal to F by 2 into N means mass of the gas by molecular weight into capital R into capital T. Okay. Therefore, E is equal to F by 2 into mass of the gas into capital R by capital M means what? Capital R by capital M. Use what? Capital R by capital M. That's one. Capital R by capital M. What is capital R by capital M? Come on, you respond in chat box. Yeah, real gas constant. Capital R by capital M. That is the real gas constant is smaller. Real gas constant. So we can write small r into capital T. It is the degrees of freedom from for m mass of the gas. For unit mass of the gas means, of course, for unit mass of the gas means you have to write m is equal to 1 unit, then F by 2 RT. We know. So this is the different types of energies of the formulas for different formulas for energy, internal energy of the gas or total energy of the given gas. Okay, now with this topic, this chapter is over. So some note points we have to discuss. Now based on this, we have to do the problems. First one, at a temperature capital T, energy associated with each molecule at a temperature capital T, energy associated with each molecule is what? If the degrees of freedom is say, or you take energy associated with each molecule of the gas for 1 degree of freedom. Energy associated with each molecule for 1 degree of freedom is equal to what? Energy associated with each molecule for 1 degree of freedom is equal to, according to the law of equipartition of energy, that only half K into T. Next one. Suppose we are given in a horizontal tube, here this is the horizontal tube. It is the horizontal tube whose one end is fixed to, there is an axis passing through one end and perpendicular to its length. There is an axis passing through one end and perpendicular to its axis. And here this cylindrical tube is fixed filled with gas. Molecular weight of the gas is m. Length of the tube is L. Here it is filled with gas. The molecular weight of the gas, molecular weight is equal to capital M. Molecular weight of the gas is given capital M. Okay, now whenever this gas in this vessel is made to rotate with the angular velocity omega. Initially, whenever there is no rotation here, it is having pressure P naught. It is having pressure P naught. So entire volume is having pressure P naught only. But whenever it is made to rotate, because of centrifugal force acts on each and every atom or molecule in the gas here inside the tube, then the molecules move away from this axis of rotation so that the pressure exerted on the surface is say P. Here the pressure exerted by this gas on this free end of the tube is equal to say P. Here the pressure of the gas in the tube varies from P naught to P. This is less because Centrifugal force acts on each and every molecule away from the axis of rotation. That's why all molecules try to move away in this direction. Due to that, here the pressure will be more, here pressure will be less. Suppose here pressure is say P naught, here pressure is P. Then what is the P? P naught will be given. What is the P value? So we have to find. Okay. So from this, you see, different. Suppose if you consider the different elements, you consider the one element here, one gaseous element. From the axis of rotation, this element is considered at a distance x, and length of the element is say dx. Area of cross section of the tube is say capital A. Area of cross section of the tube. Area of cross section of is equal to capital A. Then the mass of the gas in this element is say small d smaller. Mass of the gaseous element is dm. Then whenever this tube is made to rotate with angular velocity omega, each and every element is also having same angular velocity. Each and every element is having same angular velocity. That's why each and every element experiences a centrifugal force away from them. So centrifugal force experienced by each centrifugal force experienced by each element, comma, df is equal to mass of each element dm into the considered element is at a distance x. That's why it rotates along the circular path of radius x only. No? That's why mr omega square. That means dm into x into omega square. It is the mass of each element. Okay, now it is the centrifugal force experienced by each element. With this force, this element pushes the remaining this gas here. That gas in turn pushes this free end of the tube in this direction. That's why this is the force exerted on this free end by this element. Similarly, there are number of elements are there. Similarly, there are number of elements from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. Here it is x is equal to L. Here x is equal to 0. From x is equal to 0 to L, we consider the number of elements. Then each and every element exert the force on this free end. Therefore, pressure they asked. Pressure at this end, we have to make them equal to P. Okay, in order to find the pressure here, so force is equal to dm into x omega square. Okay, therefore this is also equal to force means the pressure. Here suppose at this point the pressure is say P. Area of cross section of the tube is equal to say A. Then A into pressure exerted by this element exert the pressure on the surface say dV. So area of cross section of this free end into pressure exerted by the element is small. Suppose small d capital P, because pressure is capital P only. So small dP. Okay, therefore dF is equal to A into dP. But here, this is equation. We got A into dP is equal to dm into x into omega square finally. Okay, this is the equation 1. Now, what about the mass of the element? From gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. N means mass of the gas by molecular weight into R into T. Okay, P into volume of the element means area of cross section to length of the element dx. That is equal to mass of the element dm we have to write, because regarding element only we are discussing. So by molecular weight into capital R into T. Suppose temperature is a constant here. Uniform temperature T temperature is equal to T, that is constant throughout. Okay, from this formula, dm is equal to, how we can write? dm is equal to P capital M capital A dx by R into T. Now we substitute this value in this equation. 2 in 1. 2 in 1 gives A into AdP is equal to dm means P capital M A dx by R into T into x omega square. X omega square. So here A cancel. Okay, therefore dP by P is equal to dP by P, because pressure pressure exerted by each and every element on this free end is not constant. This dp is the pressure exerted by this element on this one. Then similarly, as the number of elements are considered from this end, then pressure exerted by each and every element at this point is different. That's why you have to do integration. So dp by p is equal to m by rt here, m omega square by r into capital T into x dx. This is equation 3. So from this, dp is the pressure exerted by each and every element on the free end of the tube when it is made to rotate in horizontal plane with angular velocity omega. Therefore, the total pressure exerted by all the elements at this end, free end, is equal to what? So we have dp by p is equal to m omega squared by rt into x dx. Therefore, total pressure exerted by the entire gas at free end of the tube, due to rotatory motion, comma, you do integration on both sides. Integral dp by p is equal to integral m omega square by kappa into t into x dx. As we are integrating with respect to x here, the x value changes from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L, because this type of elements can be imagined from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. That's why you have to do integration between x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. The pressure at x is equal to 0, pressure is given as P naught. So P naught into at P naught to at this fixed end, they ask the pressure. So when you move in this direction, the pressure changes to P. So P, right? P. So integral dp by p means ln p, limits p naught to p, is equal to, here it is m omega square by rt is constant, because throughout the tube the temperature is taken constant according to the problem. Okay, molecular weight is constant, Kepler is constant, angular velocity of each and every element is also constant, because that angular velocity does not depend on the distance of the element from the axis of rotation. Only speed depends, but angular velocity does not depend. Okay. So into integral x dx means x square by 2, we can write limits 0 to L. Therefore, ln p minus ln p naught, that can be written as ln p by p naught, is equal to m omega square by rt into, instead of x, you substitute L square by 2. When you substitute lower limit, that is 0 only, need not write. Here ln of something is equal to this one. Therefore, p by p naught is equal to, we can write e to the power of something, no? E to the power of m omega square L square by 2 RT. RP is equal to P naught into e to the power of m omega square L square by 2 Kepler into T, I think. So this is the answer. So m omega square L square by 2 RT. E to the power of m omega square L square by 2 RT. So this is the variation of the pressure. It is the pressure exerted at this point. P naught is constant, L is constant, okay, T is constant, everyone is constant. That's why pressure at this point is equal to this one. If P naught is the pressure at the fixed end, then pressure at the free end of the tube is equal to this one. Suppose if they ask to find what is the pressure exerted at this cross section, they may ask at a distance x. Then from x equal to 0 to x is equal to x, we have to integrate them. Then instead of L, I think you will get x. That's all. Okay. Note down. Okay, I'll try to follow, because I will solve this problem. I called to the internet services. They will rectify today, I think. If the video is clear only in my laptop, but of course, because of low bandwidth, you may get you are not getting proper video, I think. Yeah. What is the force exerted at the free end means we can write F is equal to P into A also we can write. Force exerted by the gas at the free end. Force at free end. F is equal to P into A. We can write. P means of course P naught into something. So A P naught e to the power of m omega square L square by 2 RT we can write. That is the force exerted. We can write this formula also. Okay. Right. Next, one more note point. Note 4 no. Next note 4 no. Note 3 was completed now. Okay, next note 4. Okay. What is the note number? What is the note number? 2 completed. Okay, it is third one. It is third one. Okay. Okay, next one more concept. One more application. Okay, third one. 2n molecules of ideal gas X, each of mass m. 4n molecules of anhydride gas Y, each of molecule 3m, are maintained at the same absolute temperature in the same vessel. RMS velocities are v1 and v2 respectively. Then along x coordinate of axis, what about vx by vy? Here we see in a vessel, in case of one gas, there are two gases x and y. Here in this x gas, it is x gas, it is y gas. Okay. It consists of 2n number of molecules. It consists of 4n number of molecules. In this mass of 2n molecules of an ideal gas X, each of mass m. Mass of each molecule m naught is equal to m is given. Mass of each molecule in this gas is equal to it is given as 3m. All are maintained at the same temperature, capital T. Temperatures are same, capital T. Okay, now the RMS velocities are v1 and v2 respectively. Then here the RMS velocity Vrms is equal to v1, RMS velocity of each molecule is equal to v2 given. Then the RMS velocities are v1 and v2 respectively. Then RMS velocities along x coordinate axis they asked. So Vrms x is equal to say Vx Vrms x. That means x component of RMS velocity of this gas along x axis, that is given as dy. X component of RMS velocity of this gas along x axis is given as vy. Then ratio Vx by vy they asked. Vx by vy they asked. That is what the question. Here, of course, we know the direct formula for RMS velocity in terms of component of x component, y component. Already we know in case of any gas, x component of velocity, y component of velocity, z component of velocity, all are same. Okay, that is equal to say Vx only. Then RMS velocity, Vrms is equal to, we are having formula square root of x component of velocity square plus y component of velocity square plus z component of velocity square. Instead of all you write x only, then root 3 Vx we can write now. Since Vx equal to Vy equal to Vz. Okay, therefore, in case of first gas, RMS velocity V1, in case of second gas, RMS velocity is V2, which is equal to RMS velocity of the first gas by RMS velocity of the second gas is equal to root 3 into x component of RMS velocity of the first gas, that is imagined as Vx. That is imagined as Vx. RMS velocity of the next one is Vy. Okay, so Vx by RMS velocity of this one is equal to root 3 Vy. So that is equal to Vx by Vy only. Vx by Vy. That is equal to first one. That means we have to find the ratio between the RMS velocities only. That gives the ratio between the RMS velocities of the x components of the velocity. You will get. Okay. Now you see here RMS velocity of the any gas is equal to square root of 3RT by Kaplan now. 3RT by Kaplan. But here mass of the molecules are given. This is equal to, you see, number of moles is equal to mass of the gas by molecular weight. That is equal to number of molecules by Avogadro number, because number of molecules is given, mass of each molecule is also given. So this can be written as number of molecules, that implies number of molecules into mass of each gas molecule by, it is the mass of gas by molecular weight is equal to N by Na. We can write. Therefore, RMS velocity is equal to square root of 3 capital T by, capital means we can write capital M, N M naught mass of each molecule into Na by Kaplan means into Kaplan. Of course, Kaplan cancel. We need not write actually. Okay, Kaplan here. Instead of Kaplan, I have written Nm naught Na by means into N. So Nm cancel here. Therefore, RMS velocity is equal to root of 3 capital R by capital N means Boltzmann constant capital K E by mass of each molecule. Okay. Therefore, in case of first gas, RMS velocity V1, second gas, RMS velocity V2, that is equal to ratio between V1 by V2 is equal to Vx by Vy. Vx by Vy. You see, this implies both gas are at the same temperature. Boltzmann constant is also same for all. Then this is constant. So RMS velocity is inversely proportional to mass of each molecule. Therefore, that is equal to square root of mass of each molecule. We have to write m naught y by m naught x. M naught x. That is equal to square root of m naught y. M naught y means this is the in case of y gas. In case of gas y, in case of gas y, the molecule mass of each molecule is 3m. You write 3m by mass of each molecule in case of gas x is m. So these two cancel. That is equal to root 3. Therefore, v1 by v2 is equal to vx by vy is equal to root 3. Ratio they asked. So root 3 is to 1 is the answer. I think the answer is given. Another answer is given that is not correct. First option is correct. So therefore, Vx is to Vy is equal to root 3 is to 1. In our material, problem is there. Answer is given. I think 1 is to 3 is given. 1 is to 3 is not correct. Root 3 is to 1 is correct. Root 3 is to 1 is correct. Okay. No doubt. So here n moles of diatomic gas at temperature capital T is there. When it is supplied heat energy at constant temperature, then out of capital N moles of the gas, small n moles of the gas given converted into monoatomic gas. Then what is the change in total kinetic energy of the gas? Change in total kinetic energy. Change in total kinetic energy of gas. Change in total kinetic energy of gas is dash. That is the question. Okay. So here, initially energy associated with n moles of the diatomic gas is what? Here, initially there are n moles of the gas at a temperature capital T. So energy associated with energy associated with energy associated with n moles of gas, because initially there are n moles of gas, n moles of gas, comma u initial is equal to, because the energy associated with the gas is also called as the internal energy. Okay, that internal energy ui is equal to what is the formula? Number of moles are given in terms of moles. What is the formula for energy stored in the gas? In terms of number of moles, what is the formula for energy stored? In terms of degrees of freedom. In terms of degrees of freedom, if tell me F by 2, general formula is F by 2 nRT. This is the formula, no? That is equal to F means for diatomic gas, what is the degrees of freedom? It is not mentioned that it is high temperature. That's why it is normal temperature only, low temperatures only. So, what is the degrees of freedom for diatomic gas? Because initially we are having diatomic gas only. 5. Okay, very good. So 5 by 2 into initial, the number of moles of the diatomic gas is Kaplan. Number of moles. Okay, that's why Kaplan into R into temperature is T only. Since F is equal to 5. So this is the initial energy of the initial kinetic energy, because vibrational kinetic energy. If any vibrational kinetic energy is there, vibrational kinetic energy, of course, here vibrational kinetic energy is not there. Rotational kinetic energy, translational kinetic energy. Both are kinetic energies only. That's why initial kinetic energy are associated with the n moles of the gas. Initial kinetic energy associated with translational kinetic energy is different. Translational kinetic energy means 3 by 2 nRT only. Sometimes they may ask, what is the translational kinetic energy of the diatomic gas? They may ask. Translational kinetic energy of the diatomic gas, they may ask. So even diatomic gas is given, they asked only translational kinetic energy associated with the diatomic gas. In case of translational kinetic energy, degrees of freedom is 3 only, because diatomic gas has 3 degrees of freedom due to translation motion and 2 degrees of freedom due to rotative motion. That's why they asked only translational kinetic energy. That's why 3 by 2 into nRT we have to write. Of course, here total energy is asked. So kinetic energy associated with n moles of the gas is equal to this one. This is a equation 1. Now, when some heat energy is supplied, small n number of moles of the gas is converted into, dissociates into, small n moles of the given gas converted or dissociates or splits into, dissociates into the monoatomic gas. Then change in total energy. Here, total energy when n moles of the atomic gas converted into monoatomic gas is equal to energy associated with total energy associated with gas, total energy associated with n moles of that. Here, actually, small n moles of the given gas converted into monoatomic gas. Then how many moles of diatomic gas is there? Total energy associated with, from this out of Kaplan, small n moles of the gas is converted into monoatomic. So remaining Kaplan minus small n diatomic moles of the diatomic gas. No, so the total energy associated with Kaplan minus small n moles of diatomic gas, diatomic gas, and how many moles of monoatomic gas is there? How many moles of monoatomic gas is there? Out of Kaplan, n moles of a given gas convert into monatomic gas means number of moles of the monatomic gas is n only. So n moles of monoatomic gas, monoatomic gas. That is the final energy of the system. So UF is equal to UF. UI is this one. UF is equal to total energy associated with n minus n moles of the diatomic gas means for diatomic gas energy is equal to 5 by 2 nRT. So by the formula 5 by 2 into number of moles capital minus small n into RT. Okay, plus small n moles of the diatomic gas, monatomic gas. For monatomic gas, what is the formula for degrees of freedom? F by 2 nRT only. Formula is this only. For monatomic gas, degrees of freedom is 3 only. For monatomic gas, degrees of freedom is 3 only. So 3 by 2 into number of moles of monatomic gas is small n only. That's why 3 by 2 nRT. 3 by 2 small n R into T. So this is the final energy associated with the gas. But here, sorry, here n moles of it is very important. This point is only important. When n moles of diatomic gas converted into monatomic gas, then how many moles of monatomic gas is there? That is important. 2n moles of monatomic gas is there. 2n moles of monatomic gas is there. That is that is turning point here. That is only the point to be remembered. 2n into R into T. Ikkada n moles of diatomic gas converted into monatomic gas. That means each atom divided into 2 atoms. That's why n moles of diatomic gas when converted into monatomic gas, the number of moles of the monatomic gas becomes 2n. That's why 2n into 2n into RT we have to write. Okay, therefore here we simplify them. 5 by 2 nRT capital N into RT minus 5 by 2 small n RT plus here 3 nRT. 3 nRT. Okay, therefore this is equal to, when you simplify them, 5 by 2 nRT minus plus nRT by 2, no? nRT by 2. nRT by 2. Therefore, what is here the question is change in total kinetic energy of the gas. Therefore, change in energy. Change in energy is equal to energy supplied to the gas to dissociate diatomic gas into monatomic gas. So change in energy, delta U is equal to final energy minus initial energy. So delta U is equal to final energy. This one 5 by 2 capital nRT plus small nRT by capital 2 minus initial energy 5 by 2 nRT. 5 by 2 nRT. Of course, these two cancel. Therefore, change in energy or heat energy supplied is equal to nRT by capital 2. nRT by 2. This is the change in energy or heat energy supplied. Change in energy or that is also equal to heat energy supplied. Heat energy supplied, because there is no loss of energy to the surroundings. So nRT by 2 is the answer. Okay, this is also one important problem. Next. Shall I raise this one? Shall I raise? Suppose if you are given triatomic gas, capital moles of the triatomic gas, out of capital small n moles of the diatomic gas dissociates into monatomic gas under. Then what is the number of moles of the monatomic gas? From capital moles of the triatomic gas, small n moles of the triatomic gas converted into or dissociates into monatomic gas. Then what is the number of moles of the monatomic gas? Tell me, you respond. Number of moles of the monatomic gas 3n. Yeah, at this place we have to write the 3n. Okay, here 2n means number of moles of monatomic gas. Okay, that is only the important point here. The remaining formulas we can write directly. Okay. Okay, next fifth one. Suppose two gases having molar specific heats at constant volume are CV1, CV2. Two gases having molar specific heats CV1 and CV2 are mixed together. They are the chemically non-reactive gases. Chemically non-reactive gases are mixed together. Then what is the molar heat capacity at constant volume of the mixture? Molar heat capacity at constant volume of the mixture. Okay, we will discuss in thermodynamics. Right. Now we have to do the problems for this. Okay, now we will do problems.